it's 5. Okay. All right, everybody. It is time to have our live comic performance from Steve Hofstetter. Now, Steve Hofstetter is an awesome comedian that I don't know if you saw earlier, but I was talking about how it's kind of kept me going sane through the pandemic. I don't know if that's anybody else that's run into that, but it's definitely made me keep myself sane throughout it. So I'm having a lot of fun. Not sure. Steve, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, and Dan Muggleton is going to join us in a minute. He got his time zones wrong because he's in Australia, so he's going to join us. Well, he's in Australia, and it's 4:20. So, well, actually, there it is 4:21, which means all of yesterday he was probably smoking. So it makes sense that his time zones are wrong because people who don't smoke can't get time zones right. But he's messaging me right now, so this is awkward. So I got to tell him to hold on give me 1 second.
No. This is Steve. It's been a fun day already. Don't worry.
This is perfect. Yeah. I'm just gonna tell him I'm live now. Shut up. Okay. So, all right. Last year's 420. So here's the thing. I had never ever smoked until last year's 420. And
sorry, hey,
yes.
Steve, do you want people laughing at this now? We should probably tell everybody to unmute their mic if they want.
I mean, if they would like to laugh, that's really up to them.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you guys want to unmute your mics, as long as you're in a good environment to be heard, as long as there's not like a barking dog or a dishwasher, or you're coming to us from a helipad, like as long as you're cool with that. So yeah, so last year, so I never smoked, and a bunch of my friends were getting on me for that because I'm a comic, and so most of my friends smoke, and they were getting on me for it, and they said, okay, how about this? You run a charity. How about we do a charity fundraiser where if we raise enough money, you agree to smoke? And I said, sure, not thinking that they would do it. And they did it. So they raised a lot of money for me to smoke. So the first time I ever smoked was on 420 last year, and Doug Benson got me high. And he got me way too high. He, I mean, like it was the kind of high that made me be like, I don't like this. Like that kind of high. It was I took 5 bong rips with Doug Benson as the first time I ever smoked. And to me that's like learning guitar from Hendrix. Like if you're gonna start, you should start there. It was a hell of a way to start. I should tell you this, years ago. So years ago, I got asked to do a show for High Times magazine. And I was a little worried about that because I was worried if I start telling pot jokes, I could end up telling heroin jokes and then end up, telling cocaine jokes, end up in an alley sucking dick for punchlines. It's tough. It's the reason that we think all drugs, like that there are people who think all drugs are the same is because that's the drug education that we have in America, right? They say don't do drugs. That's why they think that pot is a gateway drug. But pot is only a gateway drug if you teach people it is the same as other drugs. And it's not the same as other drugs. It's not. Like we should give people actual education. Like we shouldn't say don't do drugs. We should say if you do pot, you might end up on the couch in your mother's basement. But if you do ecstasy, you will fuck the couch. On crystal meth, you'll take the couch apart piece by piece, put it back together. And on cocaine, you'll sell the couch for $8. So, which is a good deal considering what the couch just went through. I think you should Craigslist that. I'm glad, by the way, it's a pot crowd. It's a much classier crowd. I don't want it to be a meth crowd. I would know if it's a meth crowd. I would know if it's a meth crowd immediately because there would just be someone being like, that's not funny, man. It's not funny. Because when you do much meth, you lose your teeth, which is hilarious because you need teeth to say the word meth. So that is nature's intervention. You're like, but I want more meth. But your life is enough of a meth. I'm terrified of meth. By the way. I'm terrified of meth users. I am. Like the scariest thing in the world to me is a trailer park. Like I grew up in a bad neighborhood. I grew up in Jamaica, Queens. Like trailer park is much scarier because how scary is it when a bad neighborhood can move? That shit can follow you home, explode on your lawn. I think the craziest thing that you hear about pot, the craziest myth that you hear about pot is that wait, there's someone who's listening back and playing it through their speakers, which is fun because I never get to listen to me. So finally, I guess whoever has it, Steven, if you could find out whoever's mic is going in the chat and just mute them, that'd be cool. So now I'm listening to me talking about listening to me. Okay, so one of the myths that people say about pot, you'll hear politicians say things like, oh, pot supports terrorism. And that is not true. Pot doesn't support terrorism. What supports terrorism is Humvees driving down city streets, getting 8 miles to the gallon, running on fractured dreams of immigrant children. That supports terrorism. Pot doesn't. If pot supported terrorism, that would make Snoop Dogg a war profiteer. And we could get him. We know where he lives. He was on Cribs, right? We know where he lives. We could just surround him and be like, come out with your hands in the air and wave them like you just don't care. He just comes out going, oh, yeah. I think it's so ridiculous that they say pot supports terrorism. What supports terrorism, actually, I don't know if you know this, but the Coca-Cola company actually paid warlords to murder people in South Africa because they were getting in the way of profits. That supports terrorism. That's terrorism. That's what that is. But if you think about it, if you smoke a lot of pot, you might get hungry. And
Crap. See, Steve, I muted everybody now. You want to unmute yourself, Steve? Sorry. I'll send you.
I'm part of everybody, Steven. That's
I know, but it was easier for me to type everybody off than start.
You're like, I gotta find the source of this.
I did, and then all of a sudden they just came back, and I was like, shit.
Yeah, that's what by the way, when I got booked to do an event for 420, I was like, I know something's gonna go wrong with the tech. There's no fucking way it's gonna work out. And be like, my co-host's asleep, you're muting everybody, it happens, it's okay. So, going back into the bit, which was the end of the bit, was that the Coca-Cola company, I don't know where I got muted. So, the Coca-Cola company paid warlords to have people killed in South Africa because they got in the way of profits. That, to me, is terrorism. But if you think about it, if you smoke a lot of pot, you get hungry. And if you get hungry, you're going to eat something. You eat something, you're going to get thirsty. You're going to get thirsty, well, you might drink a Coke. And in that way, maybe pot does support terrorism. Someone's showing a Coke on screen. Absolutely hilarious. By the way, Dan says he's in the waiting room waiting to be let in.
Yeah, I was letting you finish your bit because I already cut you off once.
Okay, I appreciate that. That's the end of my pot. But anyway, let's bring Danny Muggs in here. So Dan and I host a show together called Ask Us Everything. We're every Monday night in America and Tuesday morning in Australia. We host a show together from across the world, and it's very interactive, and we play around with people. It's kind of this like stand-up comedy and game show hybrid. And so what we want to do is we want to play a little of that with you right now. Because why the fuck not? It'll be super fun to do, especially when everybody's high. So, Dan, can we hear you?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me? How you doing? Good.
Excellent. I'm guessing you're half asleep. What time is it over there?
It is 8:09 a.m. I was tricked by the 420. I thought I had 11 more minutes to make it to 420 LA time.
Oh no, this isn't even an LA event. They're in Winnipeg, which, by the way, I have a whole bit on Winnipeg. So if Dan's still tired, I could kill some more time. But Steven, can you highlight Dan with me? You can you can add spotlight to it, or you can make him a co-host so that he can do it too.
We can make it together. So we're gonna play some Ask Us Everything segments. Is that what we're gonna do with these people?
That's exactly what we're gonna do. So
we do a nice little green screen background for you guys. How do we feel about
That is a wonderful green screen you got, Dan.
Thank you very much.
So right now, Dan, everybody but us is muted, and and the reason for that is because there is someone who couldn't figure out how not to watch on one device while their microphone was on another. So I just got to listen to myself slightly later. It was fun.
Okay, good. Nice little echo. I love performing in a cave. One of my favorites. That.
Perfect. Okay. So I will say, all right. So the way this works, we are going to need volunteers to have their mics on because we're going to talk to you. We're going to bring you on screen here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to play our most popular game on the show. And it's called Reverse Icebreakers. And the way it works is you tell us an answer and we guess the question. Now, the important thing is we're not guessing seriously. We might try, but for the most part, we are guessing for laughs because that is what we do as comedians. So, if anybody wants to come on screen with us, Steven, will you take volunteers in the chat there, or can we start with you? Actually, you're muted too.
Everybody on mute.
Oh, there we go. No, I'm good.
All right, can we start with you? You want to highlight yourself on the screen with us as well?
Oh, geez, this will be fun.
Yeah.
So how it works, Steven, is you give us an answer, so some sort of fact or something. Maybe it's a story about you, etc. But give us the fact, and we're gonna guess what the question is.
All right, give me 1 second here.
Yeah. So
My green screen's being weird because it's like that point of the day over here where the sun's going down. But what's cool is that sometimes it just shows up a little bit of green in the background. I feel like that's appropriate for today. I feel like it's the one day that's totally okay. It's this and St. Patrick's Day are the 2 days it's okay.
And if you're in Ireland, that's fine every day.
Yeah.
They're a big fan of the color green. They can't get
and then all the time. So 420 is a fun day. It's when everybody looks like a Boston Celtics fan.
Yeah, and it's when being late is completely understandable, if not, actually supporting the cause. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A little bit late.
By the way, Steven, are you still trying to figure out how to add Spotlight?
No, it's weird. It'll let me add everyone else to Spotlight except myself. I don't know why.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we'll do it with you off Spotlight. That's okay.
Okay.
All right. So give us an answer. We're gonna guess the question.
Okay. Well, it has to be factual, right?
I mean, it's it has to be an answer to something.
Okay.
Anything from your
fair.
life?
That's fair.
Yeah.
But wait, let's not scare off Steven. Let's give him a second to think about it. But Steve, we got a jingle to introduce this goddamn game. We got.
Oh,
jingles.
that's right. You got a jingle. Let's do it.
All right, it's Reverse Icebreakers. Here we go.
Breakers.
There you go.
Perfect.
That was pretty good. Okay, so the answer to a question that I'm going to give you guys is, 10 years.
10 years. Okay.
How long did it take you to think of your answer for this game? That possibility.
How old were you when you first smoked?
Whoa, that's not a bad one.
That's pretty good, man. But not
How long has it been since you've taken off that hat?
Oh, that's actually
10
really
years?
good.
Nicely done. Nicely done. How long did it take for them to ship you that banner because you wouldn't pay for the expedited shipping?
10 years. 10 years. I don't know.
I'm gonna guess. Real guess.
Real guess.
Real guess. How long have you been smoking?
Like 10 years.
No.
Wait. Where are you from? Are you from Winnipeg?
I'm from Winnipeg, born and bred.
Inside the city or outside?
Inside.
Inside. Okay, if it was outside, I was gonna guess how old were you when you got your driver's license?
Wait, all right, I got one. How long after travel returns to normal will I wait before I even think about visiting Winnipeg? 10 another 10. No? All right. There we go.
I gotta say, wait. This is a good time to tell my Winnipeg story.
Yeah.
So I performed in Winnipeg for 2 weeks straight one January because my agent is a dick, and it was
Winnipeg needed 2 weeks of Hofstetter to make things happen.
2 weeks straight of Hofstetter in one January, and it was 60 degrees below zero. Yeah, 60 degrees below. Yeah, which
my system or your system? You talking metric or?
Oh, so my system. So 51 below in metric.
Like minus 50 Celsius.
Yeah. So minus 51 Celsius. Which, by the way, at that point, it's the fucking same. Like at that point, like there's no one being like, oh, negative 60 Fahrenheit. I was worried it was Celsius. That's downright balmy. So It was negative 51. And which, by the way, in America would be a record. In the lower 48, we've never had that. Our record was I think it was 49 below, and that was in North Dakota, so nobody knew. It was just a field with a thermometer and a cow next to it screaming. That's all it was. But in Canada, they didn't even bat an eye. It was normal. They couldn't. It was frozen open the whole time. But they didn't even bat an eye. Just a regular day. And if you don't understand how cold 51 below Celsius is, that means if it warmed up by 51 degrees, it would be freezing. You understand how dumb that thought is? That, like, I said out loud, hope it gets freezing, that'd be so much warmer. I said that. I waited to get gas. I waited to fill up my car till it would be only freezing. So, because I knew, I was like, on Friday, it'll just be freezing. So, and people were still shivering, smoking a cigarette. Like, isn't that amazing that even in that weather, people were shivering, smoking a cigarette? I'm like, how cool is it that the cigarette was not the health risk in the equation? Like, how great is that? It's like, anyway. All right. Sorry. So,
the ball there, man, though. The smokers in this city are definitely diehards.
I gotta say, and also when I was in Winnipeg, they took me to a party one night after one of the shows, and it was a house party. And we go to the house, and they open the door, and this cloud of smoke comes out like it was a Cheech and Chong movie. And I was just like, holy shit, they're smoking that much inside. And they go, no, man, that's just steam because we opened the door. That's just how Winnipeg works, because it was warm inside and so cold outside that when they open the door, it looks like it's a party bus. It was fucking ridiculous. Anyway, Steven, what is the real answer?
That's how long I've been doing 420.
That's how long you've been doing 420, so I wasn't too far off.
You were pretty close. That's why I was like, that's pretty good.
Excellent. All right, let's. Who's our next victim?
Look, I think you got pretty close. You deserve like a little. You deserve a little one. A little one. Just like, if you're doing well. I think that's the vibe. All right. Thank you, Steven. Do we have anyone else? Like Leanne and Laurie seem like they're like.
I'm gonna pick on.
Can I just hear air horns one more time?
Absolutely.
Welcome to the ASMR 420 show.
Yeah, dude. You want me to just do sound effects? I can do sound effects, baby. That's all right. It's sound effects. The air horn's waking me up. It's like a really aggressive alarm, It's good stuff.
All right, Leanne and Laurie, give us your answer. We're going to guess the question.
2 years.
2 years.
2 years.
Okay.
How long did you serve in county?
No.
2 years. 2 years. How long did 2020 fail? 2 years.
It's a good one. Not the answer.
How long is it going to take Canadians to get vaccinated?
Let's hope not. But yeah, it's looking that way.
Honestly, 2 years. That'll be quick in Australia. Don't worry, you guys are doing fine.
In Australia, they just got their first flu shots. So
yeah.
Wow.
I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
If that's the case, you better stay there, okay? Don't come.
Yeah, I'm totally kidding. All right, 2 years.
How long it'll take for us to let you in to visit? There you go. That's right.
Okay. 2 years. How long after 1/4/20 did it take you to find your keys?
Oh, that's a good one. That is a good one. No, that's not it.
I'm gonna play into a weed smoking stereotype here. How long have you had a pet snake?
No?
All right, sorry, just worth a swing.
That was if I had an air horn, you would have gotten it, Dan.
Who's got the air horn? Blow it.
Only Dan has the air horn.
Only I decide when I will not turn the show into a reggae concert. All right, only I decide.
We already had a lot of that today.
What is the correct question?
That's the year we wrote this song. It was 2 years ago. So 2018.
Oh, nice. Yeah, they're musicians. They were playing on the stream earlier.
You wrote the song? Is it on
Yeah.
Spotify? Is it on YouTube? Where's it at?
It's on
on all of them.
Spotify. It's on everywhere. We got it out there this year, but we wrote it 2 years ago. And if you like reggae, it's obviously
You got to
a little
look
reggae
at.
tunes.
You got to look up by Leanne and Laurie though,
That's right.
because there are so many Puff Pass songs
Titles.
out there.
I have another guess, even though we already know the answer. For 2 years, because it's on Spotify, is if you sell 1,000 copies a day on Spotify, how long does it take Spotify to pay you $1 in royalties? Spotify don't pay well.
I do
Spotify.
not pay well. It is a terrifyingly low number. But I mean, Amazon pays
Informational
just as
comment.
badly, which is not going to shock
Amazon
anybody.
and iTunes pays pretty decent.
Yeah, they pay better. Spotify is the industry leader in paying shitty.
That's my boss. But we wrote
I swear, if you like watch an hour of my stand-up on Amazon, I get like 7 cents. Or, like, something like that. I
No,
forget.
that's just how much people tip you after watching an hour of your stand-up.
Hey, we don't get tips in Australia. We have a wage. It's a whole thing.
You guys have this weird thing called earning a living wage, like a bunch of suckers.
Yeah, it's silly. Our businesses pay us, not the other customers. You know what I mean? Like, we got this whole thing. I know,
Yeah,
like,
that's
you
a
guys
weird-
might not know this. Like, Americans don't like paying people. Like, they've got a long history of not paying people. It's a big part of American culture.
Yeah. What's real nice though about having people here from America and Canada and Australia is we all have a lot in common in that we've all taken someone else's land.
Yeah,
So
none of us should be here at all. And if
Yep.
there's any British people here, we can blame them.
yep, is that we all should still be in England. That's where we should all be right now. Awesome. Thank you for playing with us. Let's play it with someone else.
Yeah. We'll get.
Hi, guys.
I'm gonna
Thank
pick
you.
someone else here. Let's see here. You know what? The next person in line on my side at least is Delcy. So I'm gonna unmute, or I'm gonna ask her to unmute herself. And Delcy,
already done.
you're getting.
Thank you,
popped in.
Delcy. Jump on the
Yep.
screen. I mean, can I just say that Jen Stewart in the chat said they're going to get Slurpees, and I've never liked anyone more. Slurpees, that is my jam. I just assumed Canada didn't have Slurpees because it was too cold to justify them.
Winnipeg is the capital of the world.
People drink them in -50.
How could you drink them? They'd just be
Half of
frozen.
it with vodka.
That is a fucking excellent
People drink
solution.
Slurpees on a
Just to
deathbed.
vodka them so they don't freeze over. Fucking hell.
Smart.
They don't freeze up. The alcohol warms you from inside. It's a good time.
Yeah.
Dude, I love Slurpees. Like, as Steve will tell you, I'm very passionate about Slurpees because in Australia, can you get Slurpees at McDonald's? Like, can you get them at Macca's over there as well?
No, we have 7-Elevens.
Yeah.
7-Eleven? Okay. Well, in Australia, you can get them at Macca's. Do I want to get into this, Steve? I don't know. Steve's heard my. Basically, Macca's have crashed the Slurpee economy in Australia, and it's very upsetting to me. No, because like they got into the Slurpee market and they made it $1 per Slurpee, and now every other Slurpee vendor has to do a $1 large Slurpee, which has ruined the 7-Eleven, which was always like the boutique Slurpee outlet. So,
By the way, Delcy right now is running to get a Slurpee.
yeah, I think so. I think
Delcy
that's
right
what
now
I'm-
is running
Oh,
away
that's
from her
Jen.
1-year-old daughter.
Oh, yeah. Understandable. Get her a
Delcy,
Slurpee.
you're up.
All right.
Yeah.
Give
All right.
us your answer. We will tell you your question.
In
That's
true
it.
Jeopardy format, the answer is, what is yesterday morning?
Uh-huh.
So yesterday morning.
Hmm
Is that when you realized you had a 1-year-old daughter?
Yesterday morning is when you mistook the date for 420 and got high before work. Yeah.
Yesterday morning is when you launched your official 419 campaign.
It's not a popular campaign.
It didn't work as well.
It didn't work out.
Good.
Yeah, it turned
I
out
like
419 is the 419 is the police code for stealing a library book, so it didn't really work. No, actually, so I learned this of 420 because there was the myth that was like the police code, but no, 420 is that because it was there were these I think it was a bunch of high school friends who would meet every day at 420 and go and smoke.
Yeah.
and it just became this like this.
Yeah.
I don't know why I have no hands right now. It
They were
became
north-
this tradition.
They were part of the Deadheads in California. They were Grateful Dead fans. It was the whole thing.
Yeah, which is incredible because that is actually the only successful thing a stoner has done in high school. Like that is.
Are we doing this? The expression
so-
puff pass never refers to class. You know what I mean? It's like I passed this class. That's what happened. No. So yesterday morning.
Yesterday morning. I got a real guess. Getting the vaccine.
That's what I was gonna guess.
No, I'm getting a Thursday.
Thursday. I was off.
Canada's vaccine rollout's going fine. Come on, they're doing well.
There's some people are getting it. I'm just happy to be able to talk shit as an American about anything. Like it has been so long since we've been better than another country at something. And also, had the election gone the other way, we wouldn't be. Had the election gone the other way, I would have had to drive to get vaccinated in Mexico. So I'm very excited to be. Yeah, I'm very excited to. I would have been like, hey, stop building this wall. Why? So I could get over.
Yeah.
So. Okay. Yesterday morning. Yeah, I don't know.
What do you got?
Yesterday morning, I rolled my first joint.
Whoa! How'd you go? It's
Out
an
of a
intimidating.
bong or a pipe. That's my preferred. I'd never rolled a joint. I had no bong. I was desperate, and I was like, "Fuck it." Can I say "fuck it"?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Good.
I think it's all right, man.
Wait,
I think-
no, guys, we're shut down on YouTube. Apparently,
Sorry, guys. That's my East
Yeah.
Coast potty mouth coming in.
no,
Yeah.
Delcy, you're talking to two comics. It's perfectly fine. Like the only thing we're upset is that you asked if you could. That's
Yeah.
the only thing.
I'm
tried to
Australian. This
fight.
is the very minimal amount of swearing for me. Even
Yeah.
in the morning, I'm like, usually I'm fucking cutting loose, you know?
Also, this is a Canadian stream. You guys curse on television,
We-
which is crazy to an American.
We do, yeah.
That like you guys could just be like,
Fuck yeah,
be
bud.
like, and now Jim with the weather, fucking cold. Back to you. You know, like that's.
Is that a thing? Can they curse more than you guys? Because we can curse, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. It's America might be one of the only countries that doesn't.
Yeah,
Like
actually,
you guys can say shit on TV with no problem, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Well,
no,
just
we
during a certain time of day, though, like.
we go further than that. My friend had his show somewhat cancelled because they called one of the ministers a cunt.
Ooh.
And it was and they got canceled, but not fined by a government body.
No,
It just-
this was on like, the state-sponsored channel. This was on like the ABC, the Australian Broadcast Corporation.
Oh, Australia's a real country.
Yeah, this is what freedom looks like, baby. We love it.
Dan, I'm starting to believe the flat earthers that don't believe in Australia.
How dare you? We exist. I'm coming to you live from Australia, I swear. I'm not in a Canadian basement with an accent.
Delcy, have you done edibles before?
Oh, yeah. My first experience with edibles was a lot like your first experience getting high. Way too much, where it was like, what am I doing?
I feel like if I rolled a joint, it would be similar to when I make my own burrito. Like
Yeah.
it's just I should get a professional to do this.
Yeah.
Like this is
There was a lot of
Absolutely.
colorful language being used that morning.
Yeah, it's so hard. I respect anyone who can go like a 2-paper joint. I'm like a single paper. I'm like, okay, all right, maybe, but like 2 papers, like, oh my god, you're a
Right.
genius.
By the way, like I should tweet this idea, but the premise of like people who they don't want to raise the minimum wage because they say working fast food is easy. I want to be like, okay, asshole, roll your own burrito.
Oh, snap. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Solid,
Go
man.
ahead. See if it doesn't fall apart in one bite. See if when you roll your own burrito, all it is a giant taco. That's all. You're just like holding it together.
True
2
story.
hands. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
the cops are here. Holy shit.
Oh, the popo. Scatter.
Yeah, everyone up. It's probably like legal over there. Is it legal? It must be legal. Ah, that's crazy. Australia, it's still so illegal. Like, it's like, no, not yet. Absolutely not. We're very behind on the drug legalization, I think. That's not what we do. You can swear on TV all you like, but you cannot be high on TV.
So you can be like, fuck, why isn't it legal?
Yeah, exactly. You can make a compelling point. But wait, Steve, like, were you telling your story about how you got high on Zoom?
Yeah.
Would you guys like to hear? I told this on our show yesterday.
We should actually. So Dan, we're gonna have to wrap in a second anyway. So this is the perfect closer story because I love this story. Delcy, thank you very much for joining us.
No
And
problem, man.
let's close. And Stephen, thank you for having us. And let's close on one of my favorite stories.
Yeah. So this was, as you said, Delcy, you had a crack at edibles.
Stephen just removed Dan and not Delcy.
I knew I shouldn't have made fun of his hat. I knew it. It's going to cost me. Here we go. Back involved. That's okay, dude. It happens to the best of us. But no. So this is the story. Basically, look. I'm going to go out on a limb here. Have you guys seen the TV show Weeds?
Yes.
Yes. So I watched that when I was like 18. Just started university, and they had this episode about edibles, and I was like, that seems sick. So I contacted like my weed guy, not like a dealer, like the friend of mine who smoked weed all the time and like knew about it, like weed math, like that kind of guy, like the kind of person who rolls a joint for everybody else and then it's really tight, like a beautiful burrito, like a tight tensile joint. Like that's the kind of guy that I asked about this. And I was like, hey man, I want to do edibles. And he's like, I've got a book called Cooking with Cannabis. I think we can make this happen. And I was like, fantastic. And he did all the cooking. He sorted out the quantities, and then we had the edibles. There was 8 of us, and he thought to do the edibles we needed half an ounce of not bush, of like hydroponic weed, which is also known as too much weed. This is of 18-year-old kids who don't smoke very often. What we ended up eating was roughly 2 grams each. A lot.
That's
and
a lot.
Quickly, and at the same time, because we did that classic fucking rookie move where it's like, hey, do you feel anything? Like 10 minutes in, no. All right, cool. Let's have the other half, right? Like that's the exact play that happened. And then it's gonna shock you. We were very high. We were high enough to be like, let's just put on a movie. What do you want to watch? One person said Pulp Fiction, so we put it on, which is the most intense movie you could possibly watch when you are out of your fucking mind high. Like that overdose scene just triggered all of us at the same time. And we're like, we've had too much weed, and they just freaked out, and we all ran in different directions, right? Like there was 8 of us, and we literally all just went in different directions. Like 2 people passed out on the couches in the sunroom, which were 2-seater couches, by the way. One of those people is my best friend. He's 6 foot tall. They slept there for 18 hours, right? They were just so like, they were like, we are out. And then like me and my girlfriend at the time went to a car, and we sat in the car, and she thought she needed an ambulance. And I'm like, you don't need an ambulance. You're just really, really high. And she's like, no, but I think I need an ambulance. And I said, no, you don't need an ambulance. And then I looked out the window at a bird for what I thought was like 30 seconds, but it turned out to be 20 minutes because when I turned back, the ambulance was there. And then I go to get in the ambulance with her, and they're like, you're not coming in the fucking ambulance, you idiot. And like close the door. And I was like, okay. So then I had to go into my friend's, remember I'm 18. I go to my friend's mum's house, and I'm like, hey, you need to drive me to the hospital. My girlfriend got too high, and she's now been taken to hospital. And so she drives me there. I go over to the nurse in the triage, and I'm like, excuse me, do you know where blah, blah, blah is? I'm not going to say her name, just in case. It's not legal here, remember? Anyway, so do you know where she is? And the nurse goes, sit down. And I was like, okay. And I went to a vending machine, and I bought 3 bags of chips. And she called me within 1 minute and was like, I was just too high. I'm fine. And I'm like, I know. And then by the time she got down to the thing, I had eaten all 3 bags of chips. I just inhaled them in the hospital's triage room. And then we went home, and we never did edibles again, except when they're made by professionals in Amsterdam, because they have regulated quantities, and it's very doable. But yeah, it's like, it was truly like man, you trust the weed guy. And he's like, I just wanted to make sure we all got high. And I was like, well, you fucking did, champion. You nailed it. Right? Super high. We did get through it, but yes, that was my experience with edibles. And
I have another show that I got to jump onto. You guys were wonderful and welcoming, and we very much appreciate you having us here. I hope you are having a lovely stoner Christmas, and make sure to gather around the tree and then smoke it. We appreciate you having us here. And if you want to watch Dan and I do a full version of this show, it's different every single week. Monday night in America and Canada, Tuesday night in Australia. It's on nowherecomedyclub.com. If you ever want to get tickets, or you can just come get them off my website. Follow us on social media, do all that stuff. So thank you so much for having us. I'm saying goodnight as Steven is out of frame. There he is. All right, now he can now he can take over.
All right. Cheers, guys.
Nice.
That's it. Thanks, guys.
Take care. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it. Awesome. How was that, everybody?
That's awesome.